Hello everyone, this is Snickstive here, and today's video is going to be a quick demonstration on how to play Zerg against Terran opponents. The current map that we're playing on is Daybreak. This is actually a pretty good map for Zerg overall because it's such a huge map with also plenty of expansions all around. And there's also multiple attack routes, like when going into the third or the fourth. But besides that, I'm just going to briefly talk about scouting, when to expand, basic build orders, and also droning. So first and foremost, I'm just going to be going a really basic build order. I'm going to be going 9 drones and then building my 10th, which is going to be an overlord. So as soon as I hit 100 minerals, I should be getting an overlord pretty shortly. And yeah, you see it right there. So after that, I'm going to be going up to 15 drones, and then I'll send one of my drones at about 200 minerals to go to my expansion, because the plan is to go hatchery first. In TVZ, you always pretty much go hatchery first, no matter what. You go 15 hatch. It's just the very most standard build in the game. Mostly because any early pressure that Terran can execute is, well, you should be able to hold off, to be honest. Like, if they 2-racks you, even if they go like 11-11, you're still capable of holding it off with the 15 hatch, while it might be a little bit harder. The most important thing is basically when you take your spawning pool. In this game, I believe I took a 17 for a spawning pool, meaning I had 17 supply when I took it, or 17 drones. So as soon as I get my hatchery down, you'll notice I sent my drone a little bit late, so I'll be going more of a 16 hatch. Yeah, see, I build my 16th drone, but typically your drone should hit over here at 300 minerals at 15 supply. But if you're feeling safe, most of the time it doesn't really matter, honestly, because pressure does not really happen early on, and if it does, it's using the form of a 2-racks. The only other pressure you have to worry about is maybe a Hellion opener, but with the Queen buff, Hellions are pretty much easy to stop unless they have a huge number of them. And this game I have my also Overlord positioning. There's certain places on every map where you can position Overlord that a Terran player will never be able to hit. Like right here where I'm have this green box over, like they cannot get that overlord unless they have like a Viking or something like that, or maybe if they lift off their barracks to try to snipe it. And there's also other key positions. You see my overlord's right here. If you look at his vision, well, he needs to have a worker over there, but there's also multiple areas, like right here. He won't be able to see that with just the marine. He needs to have like something that gives him high ground vision. There's also a position right over here and over here, and there's one down here somewhere right there. So basically there's positions like these where you can position your overlords, and why this is really important is it gives you good like scouting information. So maybe if he goes for a drop later on, maybe he's just gonna go around here, like avoid this overlord, because most good players will know about that. So he's gonna go over here, and if he goes a little bit like in this area, I'll have an overlord over here, and I should have an overlord up here, so it's really hard for him to get by without me noticing it. If I'm very aware, like you'll see he's walking around with his marines, but he's not gonna be able to pick off any of my overlords. He couldn't get this overlord, even though he had 3 marines out. But the problem for him is that he has no high ground vision. So this is one of the most important things about overlords. You need to position your overlords all over the map in safe zones. They're considered safe zones because they can't be attacked until they get Vikings. Now, you might say, well, what if they do have Vikings? Well, nobody rushes for Vikings until they have their expansion usually, and if they do rush for Vikings off of one base, they're going for some crazy all-in, like, I don't know, maybe a 1-1-1 or something, or maybe a blue flame drop, something crazy. But you really shouldn't see that in master level and above level play. But anyways, so this game, I know I should have emphasized more about my build. You'll see I'm taking 2 late gas at 36 supply. I already have 4 queens out. These 2 queens are going to be used to spread creep. I'm going to build my first creep tomb up here with this queen, and the first one down here. And I really don't have any idea what my opponent is doing, but because I have vision, I'm feeling pretty confident. Like, I'm not too worried about banshees. I'm not too worried about hellions. I have 4 queens total, and queens are really good. If I wanted to play really safe, I could get 6 queens out. That is pretty much like the counter to like almost any all-in. The only all-in right now that could probably kill me because I'm being really greedy, and I'll tell you why I'm being greedy. But like the only all-in I can think of that can probably kill me is like a Marauder, a Hellion, or maybe a Hellion Banshee all-in. I've seen Hellion Banshees work, but they hit faster. Or they hit about this time frame off one base. But those are really rare. They usually don't work, to be honest. Especially, like I said, queens have been buffed. And if I had 6 queens, it wouldn't be able to work. So right now, let's pause for a second so I can talk a little bit about the build. Well, as I said before, I went 15 hatch, or actually I went 16 in this game. Then I went 17 pool. Then I built my an overlord. And then as soon as my spawning pool and my hatchery done, they finished about the same time. I'm able to build a queen at both hatcheries at about the same time. And then at that point, I just keep building drones. And if you're worried about like them maybe sending their first 2 Hellions, well, like I said before, queens have 5 range. They have the same range as Hellions. You can position you can build a crawler before 5 minutes because their first 2 Hellions are finished at about, I believe the time that they finish is like 450ish. But you also have to factor in like maybe they're gonna send them to the tower. They're gonna wait a little bit, or if they just send them directly from this base to over here, that's gonna be like, I guess, 15 seconds for Hellions since they're pretty fast. Not sure. I really haven't timed it or anything. But and then as you can see, I'm just spreading creep out. I have vision over here, here. I have vision over here. I'm sending overload over here. Now the one thing that I don't like what I did, I have not scouted him. I did not send. I skipped usually after you get your first 2 queens, you usually want to build 4 lings. Take one each watchtower, then send the other 2 to scatter around. In this game, I was just playing really greedy because I don't know. I was just being really greedy. It's like cutting corners. If you guys have ever heard that, it's like going CC first blindly against a Zerg opponent, even though they might go 6 pool, things like that. Let's unpause. So right now, I don't like how I'm doing this off of one evolution chamber. Usually, you want to start both upgrades at the same time, so you'll have both evolution chambers up. But to go back a little bit back further about my build, I've droned up a lot. I'm at 44 harvesters at 730. I have more drones on the way, and now I finally built my 4 lings, but I think these are all just mostly for defensive purposes because I don't know what he's doing. You'd expect most aggression from Terran players to happen sometime after 8 minutes or before 10 minutes. So just remember that 8 to 10 minutes is like the danger zone. As long as you hold off any aggression at that time period without losing drones, you should be pretty safe. I took this third because I feel really confident that I can hold off whatever he's going to do, because I'm going to have a speed spoon, and also, I mean, I have lots of creeps, so I mean, even if he goes for like a Marine Hellion timing, as long as he doesn't have a lot of Hellions and Marines with like Stimpak and stuff, I should be okay, because I still am getting my Baneling Nest, even though it's really late. I'd recommend getting your Baneling Nest by about 7:30 if you're scared if he's going to do some type of pressure. Focusing on, another thing, I use area unit location hotkeys. Let's go over to options really quick. So go into game, or you go to control. No wait, I'm sorry guys. You go to hotkeys. So let's go global. We're gonna go to camera, and we see that I have create location 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and jump to those locations. So basically, with that said, I'm able, after I saved my hotkey zones. Yeah. So anyways, basically these hotkeys, I'm able to jump to them like after I've set location 1 by pressing Control F5. You can set however you want. I can jump to that area by pressing the button. In this game, this is my location 1. This is location 2, location 3. So this is why my queen energy is so low. I guess I'm kind of fast, but at the same time, having these location hotkeys, I find it really useful. Like when I play all 3 races, I do this for all my games. Sorry. What was I saying? Just totally had a brain fart. Well, anyways, yeah. See, my hotkeys, my energy is not going that far above. Like right now, it's 10 minutes in the game. I know I'm not being pressured or anything, so it's okay. But it really helps. So like either if you do the backspace inject method or whatever key you use, or if you just like set locations. So at the same time, another thing that I don't like that I did this game is I only have 1 queen spreaded creep. I should have 1 up here and then 1 queen down here, just like so I can get total creep. I mean, my creep spread's still pretty decent, but with 1 queen, it kind of lacks, to be honest. Especially if if the Terran player is more aggressive, like this creep would be getting destroyed a lot more, or he'd be denying it better. And also, you see that I took my 4 gases about 7:30, that's because I had like 45 drones, and at this point it's 10:30 in the game. I already have like 70 workers, and I'm getting my 4th up. I'm getting +1 carapace, +1 melee. I have my spire coming up. Now you don't have to go spire. Like I just prefer going Muto Baneling Zergling, and then as soon as I get my spire like nearly complete, I'll build my infestation pit, because I'm not gonna focus on building pure Muto the entire game. I'm gonna get my infestation tech so I can get my hive, and then from that point I'll either go just Ultralisk, or I'll go Greater Spire, or I'll just go both if I feel really confident that I'm really far ahead. Because if you go both, it really puts the turn in a really awkward position. But I would say you need to have a really strong economy to do that, or it's needs to have been like 20 minutes in the game, like you've been harvesting for a while. And yeah, this guy's oh, he's actually Diamond. I just played him in a custom game just so I can do a quick video. He's not playing this matchup the way he should be. When you get to the higher end level of the game, and you play good Terrans and good Zergs, the good Terran will always pressure the Zerg, because if you let the Zerg sit back like this, they'll just get so far ahead. Like I'm already on my 4th base. I have my tech going for everything. I have Burrow. I have my Baneling speed almost done. I have my Overlord speed. I forgot my energy for infestors, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. And now I'm gonna go harass the Mutas. Once the Mutas are out, it's hard for the Terran just to go out and pressure or go and kill the Zerg, because the Mutas can do so much damage. And also his turret positioning is not really. Let's talk about that for a second. His turret positioning is pretty bad, in the sense that, well, what if I just went over here and attacked these add-ons? His turrets wouldn't be able to reach. Or what if I just do what I'm doing right now and just run straight to the middle line where there's no defense? That's why I generally either build a turret like right here, maybe a turret somewhere around over here. I wouldn't have built these barracks at the edges. This is really important for Terran players not to build their buildings towards the edge, because it's so much easier for Zerg to pick it off. It's the same thing if you're like playing a TVT. You don't build your barracks with reactors close to the edge, because I'll just siege my tanks up here and just shell them, and then you'll be slowing down on production. And the only thing I do agree with is that he's building his 3rd over here. Now I think he's saying his orbital, but that I'd rather make this into a planetary. Now the reason why I agree with that is because you don't want to have your units split out. Like you want your units to try to be like if I was in his shoes, I would build a wall over here until I'm ready to take my 4th. And then I would take this base, because that way my army is closer to their base and mine. And instead of I wouldn't have to keep an army over here, and then once I move out over here, like if he attacks me, like tries to go to my 3rd, I'll have to pull back. But in this case, I'll have the high ground advantage if he tries to attack here, plus I'll have a wall. But I'll also have control of the watchtower for sure, so he won't be able to control that. And he also did not take out this Overlord. On Daybreak, Zerg will always have their Overlord here. And basically with the Overlord buff speed, you can't really pick off Overlords anymore on any maps. You used to be able to on like maps like Ohana and stuff, but not anymore, unfortunately. And like I said, once the Zerg starts getting a strong economy like this, I'm about to take my 5th. I have it macro hatched. It's really, really hard. And you see I've kept up with my injects the entire time. Oh, so I have like 200 APM, whatever. But anyways, my upgrades are being kept up with. Like I'm just macroing basically, and then like I'm also applying pressure with these Mutas. I'm going to take out this SCV. I'm going to take out this command center. He has 4 command centers right now, but he's not macroing well enough at this point. And you can tell clearly by supply, because at 1330 he should be he should be at least like 130 supply maybe. Even though he has like 4 command centers, that's still not enough. Oh, he's only lost like 8 SCVs, yeah. Well, so my meal harass is kind of bad. I think I was just like not really caring, because at this point I knew I'm on my 5th base. I have crawlers in my main, crawlers in my 3rd, so I'm not really worried about drops. That's also another important thing, because you know I have 70 drones. I have 4 bases with a strong economy, so I can just build crawlers and replace those drones easily, because I'll have to get the money back in no time at all. And you can still see my creep spread. Like I said, even though I'm only using 1 queen, the creep spread is not bad at all. So and I'm also gonna go pick off his engineering bay, because that's really important. Imagine Marines without upgrades versus like Zerglings with upgrades. It's really Zerg favored, especially because you'll have like 40 Zerglings versus 20 Marines. So if you get way faster upgrades that are like 3-3 before they even get their 2-2, then you're just gonna roll over their army with just pure Ling Baneling. Let's say I have like 10 tanks, but that's different. So at this point, I'm so far ahead right now. You can just tell by the money. You need to be able to spend your money wisely, but at the same time, when you get to Hive like this, you need to save your money if you want to go for Broodlords or Ultras. You have to save your money. You can't just go like 20 more Banelings like this unless you're about to go kill the Terran or do some serious damage to him. Because at this point in the game, if he was like really good like at my level, I wouldn't be this far ahead. I wouldn't have this kind of an army like just building tons of Banelings just because I feel like it. I'd be saving up to get Ultralisk. I'd be saving up to get my Greater Spire so I can build more Broodlords, because Ultralisks are really good. Like, people say Ultralisks suck, but honestly that's really, I guess, players who don't know how to use them properly, because tanks and Marines are basically kind of bad against Ultras. Like, once they have +5 armor too. And see, I'm just wasting Mulus doing nothing. You don't send Mulus to a Watchtower, especially if Terran has that. But here comes the A move. I mean, I have so many Banelings that I'm just gonna A move basically. So this guy's actually diamond. So I mean, if you're on top of your game, like your injects, my injects started getting worse this game. Like you can see, I'm at 44 energy for these 2 queens, but like for the first 15 minutes, the injects have been fine. At this point, I have like 6 hatcheries, so it doesn't really matter at this point. Let me just talk a little bit more about ZvT. When you're playing ZvT, instead of doing stupid stuff like what I just did, which is don't do that. Don't just A move into a massive tank army, marine army. What you want to do is you want to catch the tanks out of position, like maybe build the Overseer, send Changeling ins at random angles so they don't. Maybe if they're not paying attention, like they're looking over here, you send one in slightly, then they jump back to their main. They're not going to notice that Changeling, especially if you have like 50 Marines in the middle. You want to engage the Terran army either when they're out of position, meaning their Marines and tanks are like moving. They're like say he was moving on my creep and about to attack me. I would just go I just go rushing quickly. He stems, he sieges, and then I can just pull back, something like that. You know, tactics like that. Or maybe if he was clearing out the creep down here, I swing my army around. Like I basically choke him in. Like I have units flank him from over here, from over here, from over here, things like that. Or maybe if I just like. If I didn't lose my Mutalisk with the A move, I could just use my Mutalisk to take off the tanks. Like, pretend he's moving tanks over here, like his Marines are out in front. I could use the Mutalisk to come from behind and just pick off a couple of them. And if he stems his Marines back, I mean, if I did have Burrow this game, maybe I could have placed Burrowed Banelings in proper areas. Now, I want to say this real quick. If you do go Burrow Tech, do not Burrow Banelings on creep areas, because I mean the Terran is going to scan that. They're going to want to clear out your creep in the first place, so you're going to lose your Banelings. I would say move your Banelings like places like right here, but I mean at this point it's pointless because he had the Watchtower a minute ago. But like put Banelings here, maybe put Banelings over here where he has if he took his base, just so I can kill workers or something. You want to put them in creative locations. Now if you do need to buy time, you might want to put the Banelings on the creep in those cases. Like, say you have 10 Broodlords morphing in, but Terran's about to like completely destroy you with 12 tanks, 40 Marines or something. You might want to throw Banelings down in random locations, like where the Terran can just obviously see it. So that way it slows them down. They need their scans. They want to be careful. They don't want to lose like 20 Marines to like 2 Banelings, because then that would mean that their army is going to be significantly weaker. And also, if you play a Terran opponent that's not being aggressive, mass expand, mass drone. You don't need units. Like, the earlier you get more drones, the better your economy is late game. So if I had like 60 drones at 10 minutes in the game, which I think I did, I had like 68 at 10:30. My late game is gonna be really strong, because at that point I'm gonna be harvesting with 68 workers until like. Just imagine how much resources I'll harvest 10 minutes after that. Compared to him, he's gonna have like 40 at the. Well, he has like 53 at 16. I think if he was better, he'd have like 67 or so. But it's things like that you have to be aware of. That's why I went to 2 late gases. I believe I normally go like 43 gas or something, but in this case I was gonna take a greedy third, so I wanted to have my metabolic speed faster, because I didn't even scout this game. I didn't know what he was doing. In those cases like that, you want to play safe. Get your baneless at 7:30. Maybe go for 6 queens instead. Because 6 queens, like I said, with crawlers, they will wreck like literally every all-in. Banshees, Hellions are worthless. Marauders can be good, but only if they have support. If they don't have like Hellions to support them, Leans will just eat them up. Let's just continue with this. And yeah, so at this point you see that I just moved my 200 supply army, and look at my money. My income is like 2,000 minerals, 1,000 gas per second. I have infestors on the way. I'm going to build my Ultralisk cavern. I'll start my Greater Spire in just a minute. I have 6 hatcheries, so imagine the number of the Zerglings I can build in just in like an instant. That's like basically just imagine 3 larvae at 6 hatcheries. That's 18 larvae. That's 36 Zerglings without including injects and things like that, or the larva that spawns after that. See, I'm already at like 140 supply. So this is one thing that I do like. When you're really far ahead of Zerg, you can just throw armies at them. As long as you're not like, as long as you're doing damage like this. I'm about to kill his orbital if he doesn't lift, and he's not gonna lift. Or I'll probably run over here and, oh yeah, I do run over here and kill this. Like, see, I'm just gonna do economic damage, even though I'm already far ahead. I have 5 bases, and I'm just gonna get even more ahead. And there's like literally nothing he can do because he's not gonna have the money to produce with his infrastructure. And then I have infestors now. Like, seriously, 7 infestors. If you only have pure marine tank, it's really hard to deal with this. What else? Let's see. Yeah, so I'm going both tech, Greater Spire and Ultralisk Cavern. Like, at this point, there's nothing he can do. He's not gonna have Marauders. You need, like, now you definitely need Marauders to deal with Ultralisk. If you don't have Marauders and you just have pure marine tank, I hope the Zerg is not like +5 armor yet. And I hope you're at like +3 weapons, because it's super hard to deal with like 7 Ultra with just marine tank. Especially if they have things like infestors or Zergling Banding. That is really difficult. You do not want to be in that position. So and then at the same time I'm gonna get Broodlords. So it's like, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna sacrifice Marauders for Vikings, or is he gonna sacrifice Vikings for Marauders? Because right now he's gonna be like, he's not gonna be able to afford that amount of money. And you see, another thing that I didn't do this game, really, I didn't send Overlords to deny his bases. I had burrow pretty fast, and I didn't use those Zerglings to burrow underneath. It's things like that that can make a big difference in games. Like, a lot of lower players might take longer to deny this Overlord, or if I had a burrow Baneling, or Zergling, they might take longer to deny that. Let's look at that. 4 armor. If I had the +2, I mean I didn't lose any ultras, but still. But anyways, yeah, so I'm spreading creep all over. Let's look at my vision right now. I have this entire side of vision. He can't send medevacs, and if he did, I have creep. My Zerglings will get there in an instant. Look at their speed. That's 6.1. That's really fast. Like, they'll literally get from here to over here in like 4 seconds. And then I also have crawlers. I'm being defensive, but I'm also have total map control. I'm just slowly pushing him in. I'm not gonna be wasteful about my units. I'm slowly expanding my economy. I'm getting my tech. I'm spreading mass creep. Like, look at that, 13 creep tumors. And then like, at the same time, like I said, I position my overlords all over the map. Like, now I really don't need it because I have creep, but it's things like this that helps you on early games. Like, if he had gone for a double drop, like one over here, I would have spotted it. Because as I said, I had an overlord here. Now I have an overlord over there. I have an overlord there on top of this thing. I have an overlord right over here that could have spawned it. I used to have an overlord here. I don't know what happened to it. I think I moved it or something. I have overlords down here, here. I have an overlord there. So if you guys can understand this, like, these are all the small things that you need to do when you play as Zerg. You need to have perfect overlord positioning. And there's safe zones. Like I've said, every map has safe zones, like places where the Terran can't snipe your overlord. And once you do things like that, you'll be able to see what they're doing. Like, if they go for some type of all-in or some really aggressive play, like a Marine Hellion timing, which is actually pretty strong. Like, if he did a Marine Hellion timing, I might have not been prepared if it was a better opponent. What else? So besides overlord positioning, scouting. I didn't build the first 4 Zerglings. That's another thing I didn't like. You want to take the watchtowers. You want to have a Zergling maybe over here patrolling, so you can see if he hits his turret. Or maybe patrol it over here, so just in case he sends a Marine to check and he sends it back, he just sends an SCV to build. Something like that. It's just small things. Maybe I should have sent a Zergling, like, over in this vicinity to patrol for medevacs also. Yeah, and this could also be for medevac reasoning. I want to have, like I said, the danger zone is like literally between 8 to 10 minutes most of the time. Keep in mind, he can do something like just go reactor Hellions to deny you from taking your third. for like the first 8 minutes of the game, or 9 minutes, maybe even longer depending. So cases like that, you might want to deviate from what you were intending to do. You might want to just get like, well, let me tell you this: the way to counter like mass Hellions, like maybe 6 Hellions, if your queen can't deal with it, you can either try to catch them off guard with a bunch of Zerglings, like maybe 30 to 40, or you can just go like 2 roaches. Like literally 2 roaches will clear up Hellions easily, because obviously roaches deal a lot of damage and Hellions don't really hurt roaches that fast. And then building 2 roaches is also really cheap for the Zerg, because you, like I said before, you want to get as many drones as possible before you can't anymore. Like when I say that, you want to be as greedy as possible early on, but you don't want to die to anything. You want to play safe. And then you want to get your upgrades. Do not forget upgrades. Melee and carapace makes such a difference. If you've ever seen like Stefano style with like mass Zerglings with fast upgrades, like 3-3, they will destroy Marines, especially if the Marines are like lagging behind upgrades and there's a lot of Zerglings. In cases like that, tanks can also not really deal with mass Zerglings too well, because well, tanks are I would say you mostly build tanks to deal with like a strong combination army. Like if they go Mutilating Baneling, you want the tanks to kill the Banelings. If you can kill the Banelings, you can position your Marines in like really tight areas like this without having to worry about Banelings, because the Terran player wants to position their units in like small surface area places. That way like 40 Zerglings can't all attack at once, because like when they deal with Banelings, they have to split around, and so multiple Zerglings, like all your Zerglings are capable of attacking every Marine, because they have to split them. That's why you get tanks in the first place, to take out the Banelings. If they take out the Banelings, they'll probably just kite away, or they'll just box all their Marines together. So that's why you just have to be aware of things like that, like how to engage. So this is basically, I mean, that's basically it for this video. This is just discussion about how to play Zerg against Terran, what to expect. Most of the time, like I said, if you see a Hellion opener, just be prepared for Banshees. If you don't see a Hellion opener, be prepared for maybe a Marine medevac attack. If you don't see that, be prepared for a Marine Hellion. I mean, there's a couple of builds, but honestly, like with the patch, because the Queen buff really did affect the matchup. Honestly, there's gonna be a surplus of builds that are not as effective as they once were, which is why you might see Command Center first build. Like that's actually becoming quite popular. You'll see CC first into pure bile with Ravens, or later on you'll see Ravens, but yeah, so there's not that much more to talk about. Build orders in general for Zerg is really I guess loose. Like I've said before, you want to be greedy early on so you can have as many drones possible, so you can have a strong economy. Like the stronger it is, that's why I take 2 gases late, because like I said, I had my game set, or my game mind was basically just to drone up as much as possible and be greedy as much as possible, so like later on in the game I'd just crush them absolutely and just be able to remax in an instant or something like that, you know. So like, see, at this point I'm maxed out, but I have so much money, and he's getting his 3rd up, but he's not gonna be prepared, or he's just got his 4th up too, but he's not gonna be able to handle Ultralist, Broodlord, and Fester with Zerglings, especially when I have 81 drones. I have 6 hatcheries. I'll be able to rebuild all those Ultralist, Zerglings, whatever, in a heartbeat. Okay, so that's it for this video, guys. I'll probably try to make another version of this video, like ZvT tutorials later on, just because I know this matchup is so it's loose. Like I said, build orders are loose. They're not exact always. Sometimes they are. It's typically matchups like ZvP or ZvZ you'll see, like for the first couple of minutes you'll see exact build orders, but that's only because there's a lot of different Terran builds, even though many of them aren't really successful anymore, like I said. So if you guys like my video, please do subscribe and also like. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to post them, and also if you guys have any tips or advice from me on how to make better videos so I can help you guys out, then just feel free to either send me a message or comment. So thanks for watching, guys. This is Snick Snipe, and I'll see you next time.